And welcome to race number 4 out of 10 for season 2 of the sign-up season. And here you guys see all the trucks. Last week was a very interesting week for week 3. It was the debut of the 6-lane highway. This week we have the 6-lane highway returning, and we also have the crush cars returning as well. Also these awesome green ramps that these trucks are going to have a lot of air, and it's going to be really interesting. This actually might be the toughest jump on these trucks. These trucks are going to have to go flying through the air. Some are going to have some hard landings, maybe even crash or flip over. But yeah, this track definitely might be the hardest wear and tear on the trucks for the season so far. But this also will be the last race of the 6-lane highway. We are not saying goodbye to it, but we will say goodbye to it for the next couple weeks. As you guys see, it has served a perfect purpose, and definitely highly recommend to get one of these things. And now, we're going to look at the points. Alright guys, so here are the points after 3 races so far, and we have 3 different winners, with Salvager winning the first race, Monster Ice winning the second, and Freebird winning last week. So this week's going to be a little different because of how we've been qualifying trucks for round 1. We're actually going to like inverse the points. So the first race is going to be Bigfoot Flames taking on Dragonoid, and it's just going to spread out from that. So kind of want to change it up. I mean, qualifying's great and everything, but we really want to try to make a consistent truck and more of a points battle, so these trucks have to be consistent. Even though Salvager has 1 win, you saw he was 6th in points, and there's trucks ahead of him in points that don't have a win. So this could be really interesting this week. For example, El Toro will face Bigfoot, and it's just going to basically spread out from that. So Zombie Fire will face Backwards Bob. And to kick off race number 4, we have 2 trucks who had a very solid week last week in week 3. Dragonoid going up against the Bigfoot Flames. So both these trucks are pretty high in the points, and last week I would say it was pretty much their best showing. And this should be a good close race right here. So we got the first custom going up against Dragonoid. Honestly, I don't know who is the favorite in this one. Both these trucks seem pretty equally matched, if you will. But let's see as they come down the 6-lane highway. Ooh, and they get major air, and Dragonoid actually hit the camera there as we go to the finish line cam, and ooh, Bigfoot lands right on the tailgate. We're going to have to look at the photo finish here, and I love this photo finish. But it does look like it's going to be Bigfoot as he got all 4 tires across the finish line. And in today's race, the winners will have to get all 4 tires across the finish line first. So next up, we have Thrasher going against Earthshaker. So Earthshaker is trying to find the groove. That truck, I don't believe it's won the race yet. Thrasher looked really good in the very first race. It's been kind of falling off the pace here in the last couple weeks. So both trucks trying to look like they can find some momentum, make a good run at the points, and like the competition is set up today, every race is kind of based off points. But as they come down the 6-lane highway, that looked very close. So we're going to go to the camera here, and it looks like it's going to be Earthshaker, and I do believe that's Earthshaker's first win. And next up, we have a race that should be very interesting. We have Salvager taking on Team Mints. So Team Mints has been a solid kind of round 3, almost semifinal truck. And Salvager had a disappointing outing last race. But this week, we're going to see if he can rebuild. This truck has been very solid. This truck won the first ever race in Season 2. So this truck is looking to build up some massive points here today. And let's see, as they come down the 6-lane highway, it looked very close. I can't wait to see the photo finish, or even the camera. Ooh, I like how Team Mints flips past the line. Cool finish right there, but I couldn't really tell. But there it is, the photo finish, and it looks like Salvager is going to get him. And next up, we have Bigfoot, that Bigfoot-looking 8, going up against the El Toro truck. So El Toro has been really struggling so far this season. Bigfoot, that truck looks really good. That's one of the best customs. That thing is beautifully done. And he had a pretty good showing last week as well. But El Toro really struggling so far this year. They're talking about maybe switching that to a different El Toro truck maybe in the second half of the season if the struggles continue. But here we go. That looked very close. I couldn't really tell on that view, but El Toro looks like he's ahead, but wait. Oh, man, that was, I don't know. El Toro takes a crazy ride right there. We are going to look at the camera, and Bigfoot takes it, not by much. Man, El Toro had a wild flip right there across the line. That truck really landed hard on that front tire. I really hope that didn't bend any axles or anything, but man, that truck really has some work cut out for it. Hopefully everything is okay with El Toro. Here we go with another truck that's been kind of struggling getting the bugs worked out, which is Hot Wheels Racing number 1. That truck looks beautifully. That's straight out of the Digger Diecast camp. And Megalodon Zombie, this truck has been kind of hit or miss in every week. It either does really kind of good or it's just kind of bad. But Hot Wheels Racing 1, I really want to see this truck succeed because this thing looks amazing. It's beautifully done. And as they come down the 6-lane highway, that looked like on that view, it looked like it was Megalodon. But looking at it here, wow, Megalodon almost flips over, but he is going to grab the win here. That was an easy win for Megalodon. Next up, we have two very solid trucks. We got Son of a Digger, who is looking for redemption from last week, and Full Charge. Both of these trucks are very competitive. Son of a Digger did win the second race. So, Son of a Digger, that truck, last week, I don't know what happened to it. It did lose very early. Full Charge has been very solid so far lately. So, let's see if Full Charge can put Son of a Digger away in round 1 in 2 weeks. Ooh, I don't know. That looked very close. Going down to the camera, as you see, Son of a Digger almost does a backflip. Oh, man. I think Fully Charged had him, and then he flipped. If Fully Charged did not flip, I think he would have got him. Yes, indeed, he would have, but it is Son of a Digger, all because Full Charge did flip over right there. Next up, we got the Monster Mutt Ice going against Octanator. So Monster Mutt Ice has been kind of on a roll lately. That truck has really been fast down the 6-lane highway. And Octanator has been really solid. It's just had hard competition. That truck has been running very smooth, just not getting the wins because it's going up against very hard opponents. And this might actually be Octanator's first opponent that is very challenging, but that looked very close. Going down to the slow motion cam, ah man, just Monster Mutt is so quick. That Monster Mutt Ice truck, I think that's going to be one of the toughest opponents to beat. Here we go now with Fire Zombie and Backwards Bob. So Backwards Bob has been mediocre, and Zombie has been really kind of a letdown here. I thought this truck was going to be really competitive because it did dominate in basically Season 1, but that was the Fire and Ice truck. Now, in the second half of the season, the trucks that are doing pretty bad, they might upgrade to other trucks. Ooh, that looked a little different. Let's see. I don't know. That was kind of weird. Zombie went into the other lane, but it does look like it's going to be maybe Backwards Bob on that. Going to the photo finish, and indeed it is Backwards Bob flipping straight into round number 2. And next up, we have the Zombie Gravedigger going against the Fire Megalodon. So Fire Megalodon has I don't think he's gotten to round 3 yet. Zombie Gravedigger has had definitely the potential to get near the semifinals. Just, that truck, I don't know, just through the air, it does not slice like butter. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But this should be a good race. Both of these trucks are obviously close in points because of how today's setup is. But let's see, as they come down the 6-lane highway, both trucks had a nice little wheelie there. Let's see, as it looks like it's going to be, wow, that is very close. We really need the photo finish on that. Ooh, Gravedigger by a hair. Not even. Wow. Zombie Gravedigger and Fire Megalodon. That might have been the closest race so far yet this season. That was very close. Here we go with the split paint job Gravedigger going up against Race Ace. So this is the first time we're seeing the fire side of the split Gravedigger. And Race Ace is kind of getting its footing. It did win in round 1 last week. Looking to see if it can make it back-to-back. Kind of still struggling, but still getting the bugs worked out. As the trucks come down the 6-lane highway, I could not tell who won that. Both trucks looks like they got huge air. Wow, Gravedigger got major air, but man, did Race Ace slam the tailgate. I don't know who won that. Wow, that's another close finish, but as you can tell, Race Ace's 4 tires are definitely past the line. That truck took a very hard hit, though. But straight out of the Digger Diecast camp, you can tell the truck is perfectly A-okay. But man, that was a very tough ride on the tailgate and chassis of the back of that truck. Very surprising that they didn't break off. That slammed pretty hard into the ground. And here we go with last week's winner, Freebird, going against the Stunt Truck. So both these trucks have been very competitive, and if I had to be honest, I thought the Stunt Trucks were going to be a lot more competitive and a lot more dominant because they do have the weight advantage. But this Freebird truck has been very fast. It runs probably the smoothest runs on any track so far, and it's been the most consistent truck besides Monster Mutt Ice. As they come down the 6th lane, both trucks look like they had a pretty solid run. Going to the slow motion cam, they both popped a wheelie. Ooh, that's another close finish as you see the stunt truck go end over end at the end there. But looking at the photo finish, as you can tell, Freebird puts the stunt truck on the trailer in week number 4. Not gonna lie, I'm really surprised with that Freebird truck. That thing's been really on a roll. But here we go with Jurassic Attack going up against Max D. So this should be a nice competitive race. Jurassic Attack has been very close to making it to the finals a couple times. That truck is always a guaranteed maybe to go into the semifinals. It seems very fast and competitive. But Max D also is another truck that's always seemed to be flirting around round 2, round 3 semis. So let's see what's gonna happen here, as that was very close. Wow, actually Max D took it. I think Max D got it right there. That we're gonna have to look at the photo finish, but I believe, and indeed he does, not by much again. So we got some very close racing here in round 1. Shocking, Jurassic Attack actually lost in round 1. But here we go with two trucks that have kind of been struggling. We got the Mohawk Warrior Zombie going up against that beautiful custom Snakebite. Snakebite did get a win last week, and Mohawk's just kind of, I don't know, both these trucks are kind of struggling. Honestly, I thought the Snakebite truck would do a lot better. And Mohawk, to my surprise, I mean, Mohawk Warrior in Season 1 did win a couple races, but as they come down the 6-lane highway, I don't know who's going to win this. This could be anybody's race right here. This is also a rematch, but, ooh, I don't know what happened there. That was, let's see. So it looks like Mohawk gets some major air, but Snakebite, I don't know if it broke. I don't know what happened there. That truck just did not get off the ramp. That is very heartbreaking. I really want to see this truck succeed. I think this truck is very well put together, but that's going to have to go back to the garage and get some work done to it, because that thing, I don't know what happened there. It just did not get over the ramp. It just ended up flipping over, and this is actually the second time this truck has crashed out pretty bad here in 4 weeks. So that's, team needs to do something about that there. And here we go with a race with two beautifully done customs. We got the Grandma Gravedigger going up against Monster Energy. So, Monster Energy, that truck looks very solid, very nice. And we also have Grandma Gravedigger coming out of the Digger Diecast. Both these trucks are very nice, but Grandma Gravedigger has been struggling. Monster Energy has been pretty solid. That Grandma Gravedigger, that does have the weight advantage. I would say it's not as heavy as the Stunt Trucks, but the weight is definitely up there. As they come down the 6 lane, that was very close. So we're going to look at the slow motion replay. Both trucks look really good, but that Monster Energy truck gets so high off any jump. But there it is right there, as you guys can tell. Monster Energy puts Grandma on the trailer. And here we go now with Firestone Wilderness taking on Wolf's Head. So Firestone Wilderness, beautifully done custom. That truck did struggle a little bit last week, and Wolf's Head has been kind of finding the pace here. That truck seems to have some luck out of nowhere. I mean, the first couple weeks it was in, now it's really been on a roll, and the reverse has been for Firestone. So this should be a close race. I can see both these trucks kind of equally matched here as they jump. Ooh, that may have been Wolf's Head on that view, but we're going to look at this view and see just exactly, wow, Wolf's Head just went right across the line. Firestone does not have a good 2 weeks. Wow. And here it is, guys, the final race of round 1 for week number 4, and it's none other than the Fire Husky going up against the Inverse Stunt Truck. So Fire Husky had a good showing in week 2, I believe it was. After that, it's been kind of, last week was The Stunt Truck has been pretty competitive, but like I said, I thought the Stunt Trucks would be a lot faster, especially with the 6-lane highway. This could be anyone's race here as they come down the 6-lane highway, and it looks like both trucks, looks like this is going to be another photo finish here. So as we see the slow motion camera, it looks like Husky gets a little higher. Ooh, I could not tell. So we're going to go to the slow motion camera, and it looks like it's going to be the Stunt Truck from this view. Another close race to close out round 1. Alright, so round 1 is completed, and it was a pretty thrilling round. I love to see that Earthshaker made it into the second round. So did Race Ace and Gravedigger Zombie. Those trucks seem to be coming back out of nowhere, or at least having a good week. And like I said before, in round 1, it was basically, there was no qualifying this week. It was strictly based off points. And I think next week for race number 5, we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to go down the bracket. So it's going to be first in points taking on second in points, and kind of switch things up here as we're basically hitting the midway through the season here. But here is round 2. We got a couple good races with Bigfoot and Salvager. A lot of first timers in round 2, so we'll see what happens. Let's jump to the round. And welcome to round number 2, guys. As you guys can tell, the track crew has been doing a little bit of maintenance on the track. Not much. The track has been holding up pretty well this week, which is very nice. And we are going to start off round 2 with none other than the Bigfoot Flames going up against Earthshaker. Now, Earthshaker, this is the first time that he is in round 2. Bigfoot Flames, that truck has been pretty solid, kind of getting past round 3 in the semifinals in the past couple weeks. But here they come down the 6-lane highway, and it looks like it's going to be a close race. Looking at the slow motion camera here, and it looks like it's going to be maybe Bigfoot. Not by much, but we are going to have the photo finish. And indeed, it is Bigfoot. Not by much, though. And next up, we have Salvager facing the beautiful blue Bigfoot. Now, if Bigfoot wins, we actually have a chance to see a Bigfoot versus Bigfoot in round 3. But Salvager is a very tough opponent. That truck has been kind of hit or miss. Last week was an kind of race. Bigfoot looking to make it a little farther than he previously been. But this should be a good close race. A nice, fair, even matchup. This is really any truck's race as they come down the 6-lane highway. And Salvager took a wicked bounce right there at the end. But looking at the slow motion cam, it looks like Salvager was ahead. And he may have got it. He did land very awkwardly. But looking at the photo finish right here, Salvager did get him. Wow. Okay, cool. If there's one thing you learned in this week's race video, the runs don't have to be the most beautiful runs or prettiest runs. They just have to make it past the line. So here we go with Zombie Megalodon taking on the Hunter. So this is interesting. It's a Zombie versus Hunter matchup. Maybe the first one in the whole season so far. And Megalodon Zombie, that truck has really been turning it around. But son of a digger, that truck has been very solid. It did have a very disappointing week last week. But let's see who can take it. I don't know. That looked very close. As we're going to go to the camera here. Son of a digger did go awkwardly, but that did at first glance look like Megalodon, and indeed it is. Not by much, but wow, he knocked off Son of a digger. Next up, we have the truck that has been on an absolute tear so far. Monster Ice, this truck has been, I don't know what's going on with it. The first week was pretty but it did lose in the close race, and recently it's just been one of the most consistent trucks on the circuit, going up against Backwards Bob. So Backwards Bob in round number 2, this truck has yet to see round number 3, so hopefully he can knock off one of the top trucks here, definitely one of the top 2 trucks, as they come down the 6-lane highway. I don't know if Backwards Bob got it from that angle. It looked like Monster Mutt was a little ahead, and indeed he was. Not by much, but just enough to beat him and put him on the trailer, as you see the view right there. Next up, we got the Zombie Gravedigger taking on Race Ace. So Race Ace actually did win last week, and he did win and make it into round 2 this week. So that truck looks like it's on the turnaround. Zombie Gravedigger, this truck is kind of hit or miss. I can't really tell if they're trying to find the momentum here or they're kind of just hanging around, floating around round 2. But I would love to see Race Ace win. I really do like that custom truck, and of course you guys know me, I love the customs. But they're going to make their way down the 6-lane highway, and it looked like Race Ace got major air. That may have hurt him. Looking at the camera, that is very close, but a lot better run this time for Race Ace. But it looks like it's going to be Gravedigger Zombie. And next up, we got Freebird taking on Max D. I gotta say, Race Ace, that truck looks like it's got a turnaround. That was probably the best run the entire season for Race Ace. But Freebird, this truck has been very solid. It really hasn't had a bad run yet. Going up against Max D here. Max D is another contender, which kind of floating around round 2, round 3 every week. But if he knocks off Freebird here, this would be a big win for him here as they come down the 6-lane highway. Looks like a perfect run by both trucks. Freebird looked like it was a little ahead, and indeed it was. He actually cleared all the cars, just like Race Ace. That lane looks to be very fast, as you see the photo finish right there. And now we have Mohawk Warrior Zombie for the first time in round 2, taking on that custom, that beautifully done Monster Energy. This should be a good race. Monster Energy, that truck has been pretty consistent. That truck always seems to get high air too. And this is the debut for Mohawk Warrior in round number 2. So trying to make basically a splash here. That truck has really struggled in the first 3 races. Honestly, I like Monster Energy more, but I don't know. Could Mohawk knock him off? It looked like a good run, but it did look like Mohawk got a little squirrely. As you can tell, Monster Energy looked like he was ahead, and proving it with the photo finish right there, it's going to be Monster Energy. And for the final race in round number 2, we got the inverse Stunt Truck taking on Wolf's Head. So Wolf's Head looks like it's been a pretty consistent truck through the past couple weeks here. Really got turned around since basically race 1. That truck lost in the first round. The Stunt Trucks, they have the weight advantage, but it's really interesting because it doesn't seem to be working as well as it did for Higher Education in Season 1. So inverse Stunt Truck looking to knock off Wolf's Head here. As they come over the ramp, it looked like Wolf's Head. He definitely had the air, but let's just make sure on the slow motion camera he is a little ahead. That is very close. Another close race, but it is going to be Wolf's Head once again, barely getting by. Round 2 is now complete, and it was very interesting. We had Son of a Digger losing to Megalodon Zombie. It's always nice to see a truck that's kind of struggling beat a truck that's been very competitive. And we also have Salvager beating Bigfoot once in round 2, and now he's going to have to go up against the other Bigfoot in round 3, so that should be a good matchup as well. Freebird advances, and so does Monster Mutt Ice. Those two trucks seem to be really kind of like the 1 and 2 trucks here lately. But round 3 looks like we're going to have a couple good matches here. We got Monster Energy taking on Wolf's Head. That should be a good matchup as well. I can't wait to see who the final 4 trucks are that are going to be left standing. Welcome to round number 3 tonight, guys. The track crew has been doing an absolute job making sure this track does not fall apart or anything. It looks very solid. These ramps, very high angle. We've seen a lot of air, a lot of crashes. This might be just one of the toughest tracks. Really taking a beating on these trucks tonight. As you look at the view, they see what they see when they come down the ramp. I don't know, these ramps are good, so they come straight out of the stadium set, but yeah, moving on here. Here we go with Bigfoot Flames taking on Salvager, so this should be an absolute close race. Salvager has had the advantage against Bigfoot lately, but Bigfoot's really been competitive on this track and getting some high air. Honestly, I don't know who's going to take this race. This should be a very good race, interesting race, and Salvager, I don't know, I mean, it looked really competitive in the first race. Ever since we moved to the 6-lane highway, I don't know. As both trucks ended up coming fast down the 6-lane highway, it doesn't look like it's going to be a close photo finish. But right there, you did see maybe Bigfoot was ahead as Salvager does flip over right there. And going to the final picture camera right there, it is Bigfoot. So Salvager actually lost. And as you can tell, Bigfoot did suffer some major damage right there. That is, yeah, the team's going to have to work on that. Man, that's 2 Bigfoot trucks that had the body almost come off here. As you see the body all kind of limp, but Bigfoot team will fix that and we'll be working on that for the next round. And next up, we have the Megalodon Zombie going up against Monster Mutt Ice. I'm going to have to say right off the bat, Megalodon Zombie is kind of the underdog here. That Monster Mutt truck has been very competitive and very solid ever since after week 1. That truck has really been pretty much dominating everything. But it's nice to see Zombie Megalodon here in the 3rd round. But can he make it into the semifinals? Going up against the points leader right here. So this should be a close race. Ooh, Zombie did get sideways, or Megalodon did get sideways in the air. That may have cost him. Oh, if he just had a good solid run, he could have knocked off Monster Mutt. Monster Mutt did not have a clean pass, but as we do know, you don't always have to have a pretty run or anything. You just need to beat him to the line. And next up, we have another zombie truck being Zombie Gravedigger taking on Freebird. Now, Freebird has been one of the most consistent trucks, just like Monster Mutt Ice. It is nice to see Zombie Gravedigger in the 3rd round here, trying to make one of his first appearances ever in the semifinals. But going up against last week's winner, Freebird, that's going to be a very tough challenge. That truck is very quick, and this should be a good race. I'm hoping for a close one. Let's see. As they come down the 6-lane highway, both trucks pop a wheelie over the line, but going down to the finish line camera, it looks like Freebird definitely has the advantage there, and Freebird, once again, will be making it into the semifinal round. And here we go with the final race in round 3. We got Monster Energy taking on Wolf's Head. Who will be the final truck in the semifinals? Wolf's Head looks pretty competitive. Monster Energy has been very close multiple times. Both these trucks have been, I would say they're kind of equal in speed, but Wolf's Head does seem a little faster, but Monster Energy does get every ramp. That truck just seems to hit it perfectly and get some massive air. So this should be a good race. I don't know who I'm pulling for here, but both trucks come down. It looks like Wolf's Head got a little squirrely on the ramp. Let's see what happens here on the replay. And he does get a little ahead of Monster Energy, but once again, Monster Energy had a flawless run, just not that quick. Round 3 is now in the books, and now we are set for the semifinals. And one interesting fact with round 3, all the zombie and hunter trucks lost. it was a great showing this week for Zombie Gravedigger and Zombie Megalodon. Those trucks were pretty solid this week. And it was kind of like an upset for Bigfoot Flames to beat out Salvager right there. That was kind of, I wasn't expecting that. And Whoop's Head did beat Monster Energy. So the final 4 trucks, this is going to be a really interesting, some familiar faces here in the semifinals. And now we could legitimately have a possibility of a final rematch from last week, going with Monster Ice and Freebird. Alright guys, so here is the semifinals for race number 4. We have Bigfoot Flames once again in the semis. We have Monster Ice, who has been very consistent, the first truck to hit 10 race wins. And we also have Whoop's Head, who has now, I believe this might be the second appearance in the semifinals for him, and Freebird, who won last week, so he's looking to make it back-to-back wins. This should be interesting here. We could possibly have a rematch of last race's final with Monster Ice and Freebird. And here we go, guys. Who is going to be the first truck in the final for race number 4? Monster Mutt looking to make it another final. This will be the 3rd final in a row if Monster Mutt wins. And Bigfoot Flames still looking for that first final, just that first final appearance. So race number 4, this should be a good, clean matchup right here. Both these trucks are pretty fast. I can't wait to see who takes it. Really pulling, since I'm driving Bigfoot, you know, I gotta go with Bigfoot, right? So here we go. Who is it gonna be as they make their way down the 6-lane highway? It looks like it's going to be, ooh, Monster Mutt ran into the camera and Bigfoot landed pretty weird. Monster Mutt goes over on his nose and Bigfoot goes and does a wheelie. It looked like that was Monster Mutt though. That truck is just so fast and so good. And there is the photo finish. It is Monster Mutt for the 3rd time in 3 weeks in the final. Alright, so who will join Monster Mutt Ice in the final? Will it be a rematch from last week? Will Freebird make it to the final for 2 weeks in a row? Or could it be Whoop's Head right here? Freebird has been really consistent. And this is interesting. We could really have a rematch of the finals from last week. But I'm really cheering for Whoop's Head. I'm kind of hoping that truck will win. That truck has been pretty consistent. But really, honestly, Freebird seems like it's really going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Or at least this season. So let's see what's going to happen here. As they make their way down the 6-lane highway, both trucks get good air. It looked like maybe Freebird was ahead. As you see right there, he does hit the ramp first, and yes, indeed, he does pass the line first. It is going to be a rematch of Week 3. Very, very interesting. Some good racing in that semifinals, a lot of familiar faces. Wolfhead got so close again. Bigfoot Flames so close. But we are going to have a rematch from last week from race number 3. It is Freebird taking on Monster Mutt Ice. Now, Freebird did win the race last week. He's looking to make it 2 in a row. Monster Mutt Ice, that truck, I believe it's the 3rd week in a row that it's in the finals. So both these trucks seem to be really liking the 6-lane highway. They are, so far, the best 2 trucks. It's going to be an interesting race. I hope it's going to be a close race. And we're going to see if Freebird can actually knock off Monster Mutt here to win 2 in a row. And here it is, guys. For the first time ever in this whole series since Season 1 and Season 2, we have 2 of the same finals in back-to-back weeks. Week 3, it went to Freebird. Week 4, who's it going to go to? Can it go to Monster Mutt, or can Freebird win 2 in a row? This should be a really good race. Both these trucks have been very consistent in the past couple weeks. They definitely love the 6-lane highway, so it's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to be competitive next week. But here it is, this week, Week 4, and the winner of Week 4. And could it be a back-to-back winner? Who's going to be the first to win 2 races, actually? That's another interesting point. But here they go, and boom! I couldn't tell who it was right there. That was very close. Going to the slow motion camera, it looks like Freebird is a little ahead, and he does look like he's ahead, and once again, Freebird does flip over in the final. That was very interesting, but let's take a look at the photo finish, and indeed, it is going to be Freebird. And there it is, guys. Your winner for race number 4 is none other than Freebird. So this is Freebird's 2nd win, and this is also the first time ever in the sign-up series or seasons that we have a back-to-back winner. Actually, you know what? I think it did happen in Season 1. Don't quote me on that. But, however, back-to-back winner, first driver to get 2 wins, Curie Gaming. Excellent job today. That truck has been really picking it up. It's actually been, I have to say, probably the most solid truck besides Monster Mutt in the first 4 races here. Now, next week is Week 5, and it is going to be the midpoint of the season, which is pretty crazy that we're already 4 weeks down. We're on Week 5 already out of 10 races. So, yeah, don't forget to drop that like. Don't forget to subscribe, because the more likes, more subscribe, way more people get to view these videos, and I love making them. I love racing them, and I would love to have some track ideas, too, if you guys want to get involved with that. But before we leave from Race 4, we do have a stunt plan for you guys, just like last week with Kraken. and it's going to be very interesting. Also, like Kraken, it's going to be a brand new truck. So here is the stunt, and with Freebird winning the race, he is going to be the chosen truck to jump over. So no backflips, no crazy anything like that. This truck that's going to perform the stunt is brand new, and it's straight from Mix 16 as it awaits on top of the 6-lane highway. And there it is, Saigon Shaker or Shaker, whatever you guys prefer to call it. And it's basically just going to try to jump over Freebird and that wall of crushed cars. And I think we're going to have a stunt at the end of every episode, just as an added bonus for you guys. So yeah, let's see if Saigon Shaker or Shaker can make it over Freebird and that wall of basically every single crushed car that was used in today's race. And here he comes down the 6-lane highway. Those ramps look a little unstable, but there goes Shaker straight up in the air, and it looks like he does not clear. I don't even think he cleared Freebird right there as he knocks over the crushed cars. Kind of interesting. Not enough speed maybe, but that's okay. That truck is brand new. Here it is from the other view, straight up. Nice wheelie, I must admit, but he does clip Freebird in the left front, and he ends up flipping down and knocking over a couple crushed cars, so that's pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But Saigon Shaker will be in Season 3, just along with Kraken as well. But here is the destruction from race number 4. It's been a great week. It was actually a really tough week for me personally. A lot of things have been happening, so it was kind of iffy to get this video out. So sorry if the ending of this kind of seemed a little rushed or anything. But there it is. Race 4 is now in the books. We're moving on to race number 5, and the points are insanely tight. This is going to be really tight there at the end here. We got 6 more races left. We are just making way to the midpoint of the season. And do remember, that the trucks that are really struggling, like El Toro, they might get a new truck. Maybe after race 5. We'll see. But for the 6-lane highway, we're not going to see it in a little bit, but you know, next week, a whole new track. So here are the points, and don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe.